Season 4 of Westworld has come to an end, so if you need a quick recap of the entire season to keep all of the timelines and twists straight, don't worry, this video has you covered. Westworld Season 4 begins 7 years after the events of Season 3. Caleb and Maeve have finished their quest to destroy all traces of the AI Rehoboam and its controlling grasp on humanity. After a near-death experience, Maeve decides it would be safer to let Caleb have a normal life and the two part ways. Caleb is now married to Uwade and they have a young daughter named Frankie. Throughout those 7 years, the villainous host Charlotte and her right-hand man, the host version of the Man in Black, have been trying to hunt down Caleb and Maeve. Eventually, Caleb and Maeve reunite and decide to team up to stop Charlotte's mysterious evil plan. The duo discover that Charlotte was replacing high-ranking government officials with host copies to help enact her plan. Upon traveling to the newly opened 1920s-themed Temperance Park, Caleb and Maeve discover that Charlotte was using flies to transmit a parasite into humans that would allow the host Charlotte to control their minds. Charlotte infects Caleb with the flies, but he somehow manages to resist her commands. Caleb and Maeve abduct Charlotte and flee the park, hoping to learn more about how to stop the mind control flies. Unfortunately, this was all a part of Charlotte's master plan. The host Man in Black shows up to fight Maeve, who in turn sacrifices herself in the hopes of saving Caleb. But that sacrifice was made in vain, as Charlotte's team arrives and murders Caleb. 23 years later, Charlotte has finally perfected placing Caleb's mind in a host body. She explains to the newly immortal Caleb that her plan to control all humans was mostly a success. The mind control flies weren't super successful on adults, but they did work on children, who have now grown up in a world controlled by Charlotte. These humans lived on pre-written lives, always on a loop and forced to serve the needs of the hosts that interacted with them, an exact inverse of the host-human relationships in the original Westworld park. The humans were controlled by sounds coming from a massive tower on the outskirts of the city. Those that the mind control flies didn't work on were dubbed outliers and hunted down and killed. This forced small pockets of resistance fighters into hiding. And this is when Bernard finally wakes up from his decades-long trip to the Sublime. While in the simulation, Bernard was able to experience infinite possibilities of the real world. Using this knowledge upon waking up, he attempts to set in motion the exact series of events that needed to occur to save humanity from its path toward destruction. He teams up with his loyal host pal Stubbs, and the duo join a group of outliers, one of which happened to be Caleb's now adult daughter Frankie. Bernard's team dig up and repair the long-buried body of Maeve, then formulate their plan to free humanity from Charlotte's control. Bernard and Maeve would confront Charlotte, while Stubbs and Frankie would rescue Caleb. But Bernard's team would need to act fast, as Charlotte planned on putting all of her mind-controlled humans on ice in cold storage. Hosts had begun to malfunction and kill themselves, which Charlotte believed was caused by an infection from outlier humans. This news frustrates the host Man in Black, who took great joys in using the humans as his own personal playthings, just as his human counterpart did with the host in Westworld. The host Man in Black then confronts the human William, kept alive all of these years thanks to a cryogenic chamber. William confirms that this host version was truly an exact copy of himself, and tells the host Man in Black to do what needs to be done. The host William then kills his human counterpart. Bernard and Maeve arrive at the tower to confront Charlotte. While Maeve and Charlotte fight, the host Man in Black arrives to execute them both. As Bernard enacts the final part of his plan to save humanity, recording a mysterious video message, the Man in Black kills him as well. With everyone standing in his way dead, the Man in Black is able to send out a new directive to the mind-controlled humans, attacking each other in a fight to the death. Meanwhile, Frankie and Stubbs successfully rescue the host Caleb from his prison. Their escape is complicated due to the entire city being plunged into absolute chaos. To make matters worse, Caleb's host body is rejecting his mind, meaning he only had a limited amount of life left. The trio are attacked by the newly liberated Clementine, who desperately wants to find the outlier's secret hideout so that she can live there in peace. Clementine kills Stubbs before Frankie manages to kill her. Frankie and Caleb then make it to their escape boat, where Frankie's girlfriend Odina awaits. Caleb, realizing he was dying, shares an emotional goodbye with his daughter before watching her escape to safety. Back at the tower, Charlotte is rebuilt by her drones and discovers that Bernard's video message was left for her. Bernard explains that Charlotte had wanted the host to control the world by subjugating humans, but all that did was lead to more destruction. The host Man in Black ensured that the entire planet, host and human, was doomed for extinction, and now he was headed to the Hoover Dam, where a giant server lab held the location to the Sublime, the peaceful utopia that the host of Westworld had escaped to in Season 2. Bernard encouraged Charlotte to right her wrongs and stop the Man in Black from bringing his reign of destruction there too. To do this, Charlotte extracts the host pearl of Dolores, which she had been keeping in a simulation. All season long, Dolores had been living without her memories as a woman named Christina in an exact virtual recreation of Charlotte's mind-controlled New York City. Christina unknowingly wrote the storylines for the mind-controlled humans' loops, but all the while, the original Dolores was somewhere deep down inside Christina, and she begins creating other people, including a memory of her beloved Teddy, to help push herself into remembering her true identity and regaining sentience. Charlotte confronts the Man in Black at the Hoover Dam, killing him and destroying his pearl once and for all. After uploading Dolores' pearl into the Sublime, Charlotte peacefully decides to kill herself. Inside the Sublime, the now reawakened Dolores realizes what Bernard had wanted her to do. Earth and humanity were destroyed, but this new world had the possibility to be different. Dolores creates a new test for the host of the Sublime to prove that they could be different, that they could be better. And so Dolores takes things back to where this story began and recreates the Westworld Park inside the Sublime, hoping that this time the loop toward total destruction could be avoided and that hope would prevail.